Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So the wizarding world has introduced to us some of the most amazing and astounding creatures that we could ever imagine. However, the creature I want to talk to you all about today is manifested directly from a certain practice of dark arts. An Inferius, or known collectively as Inferi, is a dead body, a reanimated corpse that will do the bidding of the dark wizard who has raised it. In today's video, I'm going to explain the origins and history of the Inferi, their strengths, weaknesses, and the dark magic behind their reanimation, known as necromancy. It's a video I've put a lot of work into making, so I really hope you all enjoy it. Okay everyone, let's begin with the creation of the Inferi. An Inferius, as I said in the video's introduction, is a dead body. It has no brain activity. The creature is under the sole control of a wizard. It's a complete animation, like a zombie puppet, to give a clearer picture. Not to jump franchises, but if you ever watched Game of Thrones, they are very comparable with the White Walkers, with no conscious thought of their own. Inferi are created from an extremely dark and complex magical practice known as necromancy. Now, necromancy is only deemed successful depending on the results the person casting the magic is seeking. Albus Dumbledore, for example, deemed necromancy as a branch of magic that has never worked, most likely due to the corpses having no mind of their own. Nothing but a drone of what was once human. Any corpse that was once human is eligible to become an Inferi, whether they died yesterday or 100 years ago and are almost a skeleton-like individual. They can still be put under control. Now, as you can imagine, it may be best to have those whose deaths have been more recent, as they could be a lot stronger with flesh still on their bones. As expected, the caster must seek out the dead body in order to create the Inferius. This means a trip to the graveyard, some digging, and then the dark magical art can begin. Basically guys, if you want more than one Inferius at your control, well, bring a lot of digging equipment. If you just go back to what Dumbledore said about necromancy being a branch of magic that has never worked, that may have been the case over a century ago, when it was an area that he and Gellert Grindelwald looked upon. It's evident that despite their incredible power, knowledge, and skill, Albus and Gellert struggled to get anywhere close to successfully creating an Inferius. Gellert himself, unbeknownst to him, mistakenly believed he could raise an army of Inferi with the Resurrection Stone, which, come to think of it, was possibly one of the main reasons he and Albus were seeking out the Deathly Hallows in the first place. I believe that Albus Dumbledore was a person who would not pursue knowledge on any type of magic that he was not convinced was pointless, especially if he had experience with it himself. Now, the Inferi, as I said, were once human. They don't change in appearance, they are still based upon the humans they once were. The clear way to tell if one is dealing with an Inferi is by their eyes, which are completely cloudy in appearance, devoid of any form of life. Although they appear as if they are decaying and almost falling apart in some stages once reanimated, Inferi are forever protected and preserved by dark magic, meaning they will no longer decay. They are also extremely strong, very fast, highly agile, more so than they ever were as humans. So strong are the Inferi that once they have grabbed hold of a human, it is merely impossible to break out of their grip without the assistance of magic, which isn't all that effective anyway. Due to them being a reanimation of something that once was, the creatures cannot feel pain from magical attacks like slashing or repulsion spells like Stupefy. They also cannot be hurt from any physical trauma either, so punching, kicking, and any form of fighting them is completely useless. The Inferius may be cursed to respond lethally if disturbed, to kill indiscriminately, and to undertake perilous jobs for its master. Its limitations are, however, obvious. It has no will and no brain of its own, and will not be able to think its way out of unforeseen trouble. As a warrior or guardian with no regard for its own safety, however, it has many uses, as I've mentioned. It is not known if they can speak, but it is possible for necromancy to allow the caster to manipulate every part of their bodies. It could be feasible, if the Inferius in question was not too long dead, that they could speak its master's intentions. Despite their incredible strengths, it does not mean they don't have weaknesses. Inferi are creatures of the dark. They are creatures of coldness and decay. They severely dislike light and warmth. Combining light and warmth with the fact that there is no spell to prevent dead flesh from burning, any powerful pyro spell would be immensely effective in combating the Inferi. Because of this reason, the creatures are normally enchanted by the creator to avoid flames in order to prevent their demise. The best example of a defense against Inferi was in the Half-Blood Prince, when Harry is completely overwhelmed by the Inferi and certainly about to die. Albus Dumbledore, severely weak, summons all of his strength and casts the Firestorm spell, repelling and even destroying some of Voldemort's corpse creatures. Speaking of Voldemort, in that cave, had he shown his former headmaster how he had once again pushed the boundaries of magic beyond any normal expectation, proving that he could successfully perform a feat of magic that Albus truly believed didn't work. It's quite a frightening realization, and in saying that, a realization that I didn't even think of until making this video. How Dumbledore must have felt knowing that Voldemort truly appeared to have no limits to what he could achieve. There were rumours during the First Wizarding War that the Dark Lord would use Inferi, but nothing concrete. As awful as it sounds, Voldemort was very clever in terms of what he did with the bodies of those he killed. He knew he wanted to create an army of Inferi, and we all know he wasn't going to start digging up graves anytime soon. Any person that the Dark Lord murdered, well, maybe not every person, but a vast majority of them were transported to his cave when killed. As the numbers built up in the hundreds as the years went by, the Dark Lord decided to create an army of Inferi, successfully using necromancy to his advantage. His army would reside at the bottom of the lake, cursed to rise from their dominant state should a human hand touch the water, and kill the intruder who stood upon the small island in the center. The first known victim of the Inferi was Regulus Black, who had attempted to steal the locket of Salazar Slytherin. Overwhelmed with the severe thirst after drinking the Emerald Potion, Black was overpowered and dragged to his death at the bottom of the lake. He died as an unknown hero, with none of his family, not even Sirius, ever discovering what actually happened to him. The chilling realization of the situation is that when Harry Potter and Albus Dumbledore visited the cave and were attacked by the Inferi, Regulus Black was most likely one of the corpses that participated in the attack. Despite their incredible strength and being impervious to pain, and also quite high in numbers, Voldemort never used his army of Inferi during the Battle of Hogwarts, perhaps finding it too difficult to transport them from the cave, or too difficult to enchant them all not to attack the hundreds of Death Eaters and creatures that followed. However, in saying that, if there's one thing that Voldemort is better at than most, it's overcoming obstacles. Although Inferi are extremely similar to zombies in a lot of ways, J.K. Rowling chose to use Inferi over the better known name of zombies for a number of reasons. Zombies are part of African myth, part of voodoo rituals, and even though they are also reanimated corpses, in order to create a zombie, the caster must use part of their soul. This conflicted her Horcrux story, as Voldemort's soul already had purpose in the events of the book, so using this method to create zombies, which are also not part of British folklore, just seemed unnecessary and a huge contradiction to her already well-planned route for the Dark Lord. So as you can see everyone, just another example of how well JK thought everything out, having a reason for everything. It wouldn't be too out of the ordinary to assume that necromancy was an illegal practice, seeing as it's their art of raising the dead, but practicing dark magic is not illegal. That's the counter argument. There's no ministry stance on the subject, most likely due to the fact that many believed necromancy was an unproven and a rumoured feat of magic that just wouldn't work. There have also been books published on the practice, most notably the Nightshade Guides to Necromancy, but as of today we still don't know and may not ever know the legalities of this practice. So with that being said everyone, that is today's video on the Inferi. I really hope you enjoyed it, but here's my question to you. Do you believe Regulus Black was one of the Inferi that attacked Harry Potter and Albus Dumbledore in the cave? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again, and I'll see you all very soon.